Got a little beerus boy. He's so comfy. He's a good puppy. He's a good puppy.
Week 2 went well enough, I suppose. Didn't go great. Definitely didn't go great. I have this thing where it's like the further out I am from a show, the less I worry about little slip-ups here and there. So Cinco de Mayo happened. We got some fajitas and margaritas. I just had basically protein only for the first however many meals during the day, like 3, 4. I worked out, and then we just had those. I didn't really track any of that. Checked my weight the next day. I'd gone up a little bit, nothing crazy. So add a little blip in overall for the week, still down, so that's good. This past weekend was Mother's Day. Well, I guess this weekend? Yesterday was Mother's Day. It is Monday today. Yesterday was Sunday. So it was Mother's Day, and normally I have my higher calorie days Friday, Saturday. I split up Saturday's calories to include Sunday, so that way I could do some pancakes for breakfast for Sam, and we had some salmon for dinner. But outside of the calories that I moved from Saturday to Sunday, or carbs and fats that I moved from Saturday to Sunday, hit my macros on that perfectly fine. Body fat percentage is down from 11 to 10.6, so it's good, down 4%, or 0.4%, not 4, down 0.4%. That's all. Weight-wise, we are averaging out at 211 now versus 212, so we're down about a pound, which is good. That's right on the money. Workouts are still what they are. I mean, they're not phenomenal. It's at-home workouts. And it's been interesting watching Emery while trying to get my work done. And she'll accompany me for workouts sometimes, so that's neat. Overall, I would say things are going really well thus far. And I think that they will continue to go well. I just want to say, don't let rain be a deterrent. It can be kind of fun, unless there's lightning. Lightning's not fun, dying's not fun, but rain's fine. So, a little wet outside, a little rainy, but still gonna do our workout outside today. We got a pull day. Yesterday I rested, heart rate variability was down. Today it was like, picture perfect. Oh. Wait, no. Yesterday I did legs. 2 days ago it was down. Yesterday it was right on, today it was right on. So, gonna get into this and then hop on the computer and do some programming, hopefully, while Emery's still asleep. All right, first workout up for the pull day. We're gonna do a row with the band, both arms at the same time. Low row, crouch up. Switch view real quick so I can see from the side. Pulling down, keeping the arms parallel to the floor, and you're almost doing a scoop. Should get a good pull right through your mid-back on this. All right, second workout is gonna be a band row, or band bent over row, unilateral. Using both feet, pin down the bands, because this is wet. Now when you row, I want you pulling elbow to hip, proud chest. Easiest way to do that, set your stomach, tight core, look up, feel a little bit of extension. Going 10 reps on this. We want it to be kind of the heavy movement of the workout for our lat. Holding that 2-second isometric at the top to really isolate the lat. Get a deep squeeze. Make sure we're pulling mainly with our lats and not with our biceps or our upper back, something like that. All right, benefits of this, using the band, is kind of the strength profile on the pull is as you get closer to the top, you're gonna get a deeper and deeper contraction. So your peak contraction can be better. Negative is that it gets harder and harder as you get closer to the top. So make sure you're doing an appropriate band tension where you can actually get to the full contraction and you're not stopping short. For lats, it's really helps with shoulder extension, and so getting your elbow just in line with your torso is enough. You don't have to be going past that, because then you start incorporating some shoulder blade mechanics that you don't necessarily have to for a lat workout. Also, forgot to mention drop set. So we're only doing 3 sets of this. Last set, do your initial 10 reps with a thicker band or more band tension. So put your foot closer to your hand. After those 10, we're gonna release band tension or drop to a thinner band and do an additional 6 to 8 reps, and then hold one really long iso at the end. Really focus. Again, don't pull through the bicep, pull through the lat, so just drive your elbow back and hold it. Next up, we're gonna do a lat opener. This is gonna be a pivoting row with an emphasis on stretching out the lat and actually the quadratus lumborum. So doing legs yesterday, I did a good amount of glutes and hamstrings, so my low back is a little bit tight from all of it. This is actually gonna be the last lat movement. Essentially, what we're gonna be doing is coming to a complete contraction here, almost like you're doing a boxing punch in the front, except instead of extending out, you're gonna be pulling in. So that's gonna close down your side. You're gonna go into a lateral bend. You're gonna bring the chest up and then drive the elbow back, and that's going to make the lat as short as possible and get a really deep contraction. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna reverse that motion. You're gonna pivot out, open up the chest, lateral bend the other way, and let your arm come up over the top. And that's going to put your lat into the most extension possible. You're gonna hold that stretch for 1, 2. We're doing 8 reps, holding the last stretch for 20 seconds. 3 sets of this. 3. Since it's such a long set, I'm not gonna make you sit through the other side. But trust me, feels phenomenal. Get your lats really opened up. And then after you finish your set, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, you get this sudden rush in of blood and it feels great. And then we'll be done with lats for today, and we're gonna move on to upper back and then biceps. All right, next up on the docket, gonna be face pulls. There's a handful of different ways to do face pulls. Previous ones, we've been doing the high face pull to really crank on some of the external rotators, the rear delt, more of the rotator cuff. This time, we're coming closer down to the chin, pulling the bands apart, and really driving our scapula together just to isolate more of your rhomboids, your low traps, and hit more of those classic upper back muscles, because you don't want a hollow upper back. Plus, helps with posture, standing right, getting everything drawn back in place. Important takeaway note, don't fall in love with any one way to do face pull and only do that way. There's different variations, they do different things. You should incorporate them as needed into a workout plan. 4 sets of 12 on this. We'll go one more set on this without a shirt on so you can see kind of the movement of the scapula and the contraction of the upper back. And then I'm gonna do a couple high ones so you can see the difference between a high face pull and a low face pull and what's being worked in your upper back. As you can probably tell from the restrict range motion, band is a little too heavy for me to do a high face pull with it. But the main difference that you should be seeing is when you're going a high face pull, your scapula are going to be a little bit more stationary. They go superior rotation, inferior rotation, and having that angle of pull up here, you're really going to work the low trap fibers, pulling the scapula down in place, and then the external rotators of the shoulder to keep that football position, touchdown. Versus when you're pulling flat across, you're gonna get more protraction and retraction of the scapula, which is gonna be more rhomboid, mid and low trap. Still a little rear delt, obviously. Any extension of your shoulder is gonna be rear delt. The main focus of it will pivot from external rotators and low traps to mid traps, low traps, and rhomboids. All right, next up is gonna be basically the closest variation I can get to a snatch grip bent over row. I'm a big fan of these. Also, I really like snatch grip high pulls. Can't really get a snatch grip high pull with a band, in my opinion. This is a little more doable. So what we're gonna do, get this band, pull it apart, walk your feet apart. So you're nice and wide, get a good even pull on either side of the band. Set your gut, hip hinge, and then just doing the bent over row. Feels a little awkward, really, really good activation in your upper traps and rear delts. The reason why it works so well for the upper traps is because you're putting the angle of pull in line with those fibers. So as your elbow comes up, you're gonna pull up through your trap fibers to bring your shoulder blades up and in. So sometimes the benefit of a band workout or an at-home workout, something like this, is it makes you stop and really think, how am I getting my mechanical advantage on rear delts? How am I getting it on my traps? What am I doing to optimize that pull? And then you can make variations of your exercises to really fit whatever that profile is for you. So not everyone's the same shape as me. So if it's worked really well for me, doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work really well for you, but you can tweak that a little bit, change the angle a little bit, and get a really good contraction for yourself rather than for myself. All right, for the sake of not totally soaking my backpack, because while I don't mind being wet, I can go dry off. A backpack won't necessarily. Plus, it's got a bunch of my expensive textbooks in it. So, keeping it under the cover, we're doing our hammer curls over here. Build up 4 sets of 8 heavy reps. Hold a 1 second ISO at the top. So it's just gonna be up, 1, down. The way I like to add the bands onto this is onto the top loop, right here. Then, step on it, and you got a good resistance profile for a hammer curl. We're not doing anything crazy on these, just 4 regular sets of 8 reps. That little pause at the top to get biceps started. All right, final set for this workout. We're getting a little bit over the hour mark here. So I was gonna do another bicep workout and then this one, but time management's important. I can't be taking that long to get a workout in. So we're going to do a slant curl modification with a sink stretch modification to finish the workout. I'm thinking probably 3 sets of 15 reps with a 20-second hold on the stretch. Hammer curls where to really hit the brachialis, and the biceps, get the heavy work in. Now we're gonna do a little bit more volume, get some more blood flow in, and then stretch it out and make sure that our fibers get back to resting length. So every time you're working out, they're pulling, they're pulling, they're pulling. If you're not aware, muscles work on something called the sliding filament theory, and that is the muscle fibers physically slide past each other when they contract. So every time you're contracting, they get close, and they get close, and they get close. And I just like to have something at the end to really stretch those back out and make sure they get back resting length. I personally think it helps with recovery and having less DOMs the next day. I'm sure people will argue with me. It's been good for me. It's worked for my clients, so it's something I like to do. So by doing these slant curls, what we're doing is we're putting our shoulder into extension. It's gonna put more stress on the long head of the bicep, and it's gonna work a little bit more for the peak, which is obviously only really necessary if you care about what your biceps look like and if you're bodybuilding. But since it supplies a good stretch, I find it's also good for lifestyle clients as well. Okay, so then after you do your reps, you're just gonna sit and let that stretch back, really retract your shoulder blades back, down, and then if you need a deeper stretch, you can start squatting into it. And it's gonna drag your arms up and up more, getting a deeper and deeper stretch. Woo! So we'll do another 2 sets of that, then we're done.